over. We know how effective that time can be for them. We just need to see them find their rhythm and deal with reality TV. This little surprise coming into this qualifier. We knew that there would be this surprise, but we didn't know how effective it might be. Reality TV so far, clearly cooking up, clearly feeling good. Reality TV, like, I mean, for SSG rather, I mean, they just need to fight, but I'm confident they will.
And I think the second map being Cafe, even though it is Reality TV's pick, this is a good avenue for SSG to fight back on. Their win conditions are executes. They like getting those bombs down, and this is a map that is going to revolve a bit more around being structured, clearing utility properly, and then eventually getting to an execute. So this is certainly a map that caters to a playstyle that SSG tried to employ on Border to here or there effect, here or there being able to be successful. But this is a map that should be a little bit more conducive for that. But that just goes to Reality TV and how good Rice has been. If you have a late round team that likes taking their time and setting up well thought out executes, then a key late round player like Rice who can land those C4s and hit those key angles or positions is going to be that much more damaging. So trying to take care of Rice and take care of those anchors, which SSG tried to do on Border, using nades from below to try to clear out players inside of Armory and Archives. That's something they're going to need to do, because letting Rice stay alive is always going to make things seem just that much better for Reality TV if SSG are trying to get the bomb down.
Well, Carter, I know I hinted at the roster changes that have been, coming through Reality TV so far this year, but I mean, I gotta touch on it again, because Rice, the player that we are talking the most about right now, he is the most recent addition to this team, joining the team after they already qualified for the closed qualifiers.
First game with
Valor was in that spot, and now Rice is in that spot. Earlier as well, they won Challenger League with Packer and Guvini in place. At the time, that was an incredible stack, and so good, in fact, that both Packer and Guvini then immediately got grabbed by Pro League teams, went to Parabellum, went to DZ, right? They moved on to bigger and better things. But Reality TV, they haven't slowed down with those losses. They bring on Hat, they bring on Valor, and now they bring on Rice, and they are continuing to thrive. Again, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but it's just so amazing to see this team continue to thrive, even with all these changes, and even with the very recent addition of Rice. So here on Cafe, Rice and Reality TV as a whole will be looking to start things off on the same note that carried them throughout Border, and that was just good early success. That was just clean play through and through. Rice here on the Nomad will be looking to start things off with just some well-placed air jabs to prevent SSG from pulling in any surprises.
And then Hat, that other late-round player that was so key. But for SSG, their setup they're running right now, Reality TV will need to have their work cut out for them to make this top-floor attack work. We have mirror windows from Bosco, castle barricades from Hot and Cold, Kiba barriers from Yeti, and a deployable shield from Warden. Even if he was having a C4, just a Warden in general. There is so much utility that is going to pose a threat from Reality TV, pose a threat for Reality TV, and make these positions a lot more difficult to clear. SSG are trying to stall as much time as possible and make this as difficult as they can. With Rampy, typically on Cafe, you'll see the other 4 players around the site, but he'll try to go for that aggressive play. He knows there's an air jab, but it gets set off. Rice will try to rotate back and get that kill. Neither will fall on either side, but Rampy's aggressive play to deal with those players on that West Rappel, it will not work.
But at least it wasted a little bit of time, right? Reality TV, at least for a moment, had to turn their attention towards that bakery position and worry about what might lie in wait on the rest of this map. And that does take some time, and it does make sure that you are a little bit more delayed in actually starting to burn all that utility that you had mentioned earlier, Carter. Now we're seeing them work their way into this new Balk position that Fultz is keeping his eye on here. They're working their way into Piano. They're trying to deal with this Pixel position, but it is not easy. Oh my, look at that angle that Yeti's holding as well. That Pixel looking towards Pixel, oddly enough, but it's actually Giddy to find the first. Tristan will attack on one. That one's on to Bosco, a 5v3, just like that, favoring the attack.
Now they have Christmas control. Oh, but the self-nade, that's a rare one for Tristan on to Giddy. They still hold that man advantage, thankfully. Taking down Bosco and Houghton gives them a little bit of a cushion to make that work with. But with 35 seconds left, SSG still have control of this Freezer Mira. They have an angle looking into all of Christmas, and they can pressure White Stairs as well, but Hat threads the needle, and that's what they were looking for.
How do you win that gunfight, Hat? That's insane. Rampy, he's in a perfect position, though, and this could change the way this round unfolds. He's got a pixel to hold. This white hall is going to be so hard for Reality TV to work their way up. Hat's been down as a result, but Tristan, he doesn't seem to care. Rampy, though, from behind, says quick goodnight to Mr. B. It's all up to Tristan. All up to the Yana with 4 seconds left. He is out of time. He is out of options. He's got to find this kill, and he cannot quite do it. That is a ruthless pixel angle from the white stairs, and that right there, as well as some nice play from Rampy, is won SSG the round.
That's an excellent play from SSG to set up that Kiba barrier for that pixel. For those who may not be paying attention to SSG, that's not their normal strat. Normally, Yeti's on the Wamai, playing inside of pixels, setting up those magnets, but SSG banned it out. Now put Yeti onto the Azami. Because of that decision, now that you're focusing more on the Azami, they set up that Kiba barrier, and Reality TV took so long, you just can't deal with that. You can't clear out that position with utility. It's probably already spent, or you don't have the time to use it. You focus so much on the black mirrors and clearing out the shield and pixel, at a Kiba barrier on white stairs, you just got to push up and hope for the best, and Mr. B threw out some good flashes, tried to blind the Jaeger, but once Tristan was put on the floor, and that's now a 1v1 with Mr. B, I love the guy. He's one of the best players on Reality TV, but against Rampy, can't count him out.
But what a play from Rampy, though.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, Kiba barrier was nice, but Rampy played that well. Just running up those stairs, he knew he had to make a play. He knew he had to take care of Mr. B as he tried to rotate past that position, and he did just in the nick of time as Mr. B was about to rotate into Cocktail, where he would have had support from Tristan, from his teammate there. Rampy stepped up and shot Mr. B in the back of the head. So exactly what Rampy needed to do to put SSG on top and to give them the early start they wanted here on Cafe. Like our analysts have mentioned, this map, this is Reality TV's pick, and Border was SSG's pick, but normally you kind of would have swapped it around. If you were predicting the map bans for this game, you would have literally just swapped which team picked which map. So both teams clearly very comfortable here. SSG already showcasing that through round number 1.
Also, SSG running the exact same operator lineup, but on a completely different site. Not even the same vertically. We're all the way on that, eastern part of the top floor to the western part of the second floor for mining and dining, and they're keeping all 5 of those same operators. Some changed positions, of course. Bosco playing inside of Train, his normal spot, but still trying to hold Pixel, and still playing off of that mirror window, looking into Freezer. SSG have rotated off quick. They know that Pixel shield, that's just meant to waste maybe a minute 30 if you're really pushing it. They're not a team to get aggressive right there. So once the utility flies in, they pull back. But now on Cocktail Balcony, emboldened by that mirror window, they will likely try to get a little bit more aggressive on that top floor and stay up for a little bit longer to turn this 5v5 into hopefully a 5v4, or at the bare minimum, just waste a hell of a lot of time.
I mean, they're wasting a lot of time right now. That's working beautifully, and well, Reality TV, their only option here might be to get a little bit spicy. Oh, Fultz is the one to do it. He's going to get a bit cheeky, and he'll jump out the window, taking care of Rice just like that. Hot and cold, another. Giddy will finally get some sort of a response going, taking care of the castle. But oh my, SSG, that is an early damage to this Reality TV attack. And as they work their way into this top floor, finally, they still have so much more map to clear. And now, well, they're just lacking the manpower to do it.
And with Hat gone, your only source of soft destruction is that sledge, which is just not as destructive and not as efficient or quick as the Buck. He does have nades, which the Buck does not have, but only one left and 40 seconds to use it. They will be hoping those 2 Candelas and this frag grenade being cooked by Giddy right now, but not released just yet, will be enough to do some damage. Fultz down below as well can be that X factor, be that extra body unaccounted for SSG as Reality TV push in and hope to blind and destroy their opponents to turn this 3v3 into a victory.
Good kill there from Tristan. Oh my god, another good one from Giddy as well. Yeti just caught looking the other way. That one's going to give Reality TV the advantage, and a couple of Candelas will go in and give Mr. B the coverage he needs to drop down. Thing is, he didn't know where the bomb was, tried to plant in train room, but you can never do that. Finally putting that one on the ground now, but somebody is going to have to stop Bosco. Fultz! Someone's going to have to stop Fultz! He does it instead! It's the play from... Where even was that? Was that from the red hall there?
It was. Red stairs.
Wow.
first floor for the entire mid round. Because remember, he hopped out that window, and instead of rotating back through train, he hopped off the balcony and rotated through the front door of Cafe, and then stayed down there for the remainder of the round, knowing that this is a 4v3. We still have 2 people on the site and 1 person on the top floor. I'll just wait for Reality TV to push in and flank from red stairs. I've got the feet holes to watch to see if anybody plays, or I can watch the red hall window. And that's exactly what he did. He rotates late. Bosco takes the attention of not only the players, but both you and I. And then Fultz creeps up, kills the player covering, and then kills the planter as well. The decision-making for SSG in round 1, but definitely round 2, individually and as a team, has been flawless so far.
Yeah, through 2 rounds, that is really well done. Because, I mean, Reality TV, both of those rounds, they were very close. Sure, they were doing what they do best, and that is incredible late-round comebacks. They haven't been starting off too hot on this map, but they've been really just tooth and nail fighting their way until the end. Again, SSG, though, they hang on and they make sure that even if they have a disadvantage for just a moment or two, that they take advantage of the positions they're in as defenders. They use the clock. They use the fact that all they have to do is deny the plant. They don't have to fight for all those kills. They use that to the advantage. And once again, it works well for them. So that's 2 rounds in a row. Reality TV. Now we go down to Kitchen to see what they can do.
SSG keeping with their normal strat. 4 players around the site. Rampy doing whatever the hell he wants around the map. On the Solus right now, trying to get any drones as Reality TV aim to maybe go for this full clear. Even on this site, Reality TV often don't necessarily start on that top floor. You see one up there right now. Droning out New Hatch, Noob out, looking to see if there's anybody playing. I think the Solus might just have escaped the line of sight of that drone. They'll know someone's up there now. But Reality TV instead, as you're seeing, they like to push direct. They like to push this first floor, push Bakery, take control, push VIP, take control, and then try and squeeze the life out of SSG on the site.
Well, they've squeezed the life out of Yeti at least. Got the opener there. And now they're looking to leverage this control to really force these defenders to rotate back. And that's already what SSG are having to do. You see Rampy on the Solus up above, likely where he's going to stay as long as Reality TV keep going direct and they don't adjust to go for some amount of vertical control. Normally, you do need a little bit, some amount of control over those initial 2 rooms up top. That's mining and that's train, because if not, someone like Rampy could deny the plant if you're not careful.
Ooh, Hat now creeping up, but he's spotted by Bosco. Nobody over on that VIP side. No pressure means that not only does Hat end up falling, but now Hot and Cold can drop the diffuser cold on the floor. No coat check pressure either. Makes this a 3v2 though. Still favoring Reality TV. Make that a 1v3. And somehow, with the lack of control and having to win this by gunfights in the late round, you don't count Reality TV out. Rampy might have vertical control, but there's no pre-made holes in the floor, no angles to speak of, and even with that Specchio scanner to spot through the floor, there was not enough time to make a rotation happen. On 1 HP, he might be best to duel Tristan, but he can't pick his engagements in this moment. A 1v3, he's got to hope Reality TV give him individual engagements. He'll start making his way up round bar, trickles a little bit lower, and finally moves into the grave as Reality TV take their very first round on attack.
I mean, how does Reality TV win rounds like that, man? I mean, that is...
I honestly thought they were losing.
I mean, honestly, I did too. I honestly thought it was lost at one point because they just kept losing bodies. They didn't have the vertical control, and then all of a sudden, they just explode onto the bomb site and get kills. They do what they do best, and they take what looks like not an unwinnable, but certainly an unfavorable situation, and a difficult situation, and spin it on its head. Just like that, Reality TV absolutely shut it down. They went for that early plant, right? They tried to get in. Mr. B tried to make the move. That's when I thought they were about to lose it because Hot and Cold had a perfect angle to shut down the plant. All of a sudden, Reality TV are left without the diffuser, without as the control that they really want. And now you've got a couple more of these defenders that you have to track down. Yet, they just stick with it. They grab that diffuser, they continue to push in, and they don't give up an inch. Another round that Reality TV will be happy to secure. I mean, the first one here on Cafe, so at least maybe what they need to get some momentum.
And I think some people might find it odd that Reality TV, after winning a round, just took a tactical timeout, but that could have very well been a 3-0 for SSG, mainly because, as I mentioned during the round, they had bakery control, and they were able to start pushing up red, but they had no pressure on coat check and no pressure on anybody long bar or VIP, where normally you see an attacker on that double window watching the player playing behind a shield on bottom white, or playing where Bosco was playing over by long bar, but that wasn't there for Reality TV. In some rounds, they're skipping steps, leaving angles uncovered, but the late round coordination is not really there. I think on order as well, we saw, a lot of good individual late round plays, Hat in particular, but they certainly struggled to create openings as a team on board and were able to rely on those individual players. On Cafe, it's not as viable a strategy, and taking a tactical timeout to either work on a more dominant early round or a more coordinated late round, even though you just won round number 3, honestly, it might be the move if you're trying to run up the scoreboard on attack and if you're Reality TV.
I like the comparison of those two maps you made there, Carter, because Border and Cafe, in a world, in one version of Cafe, the two maps can play out somewhat similar, but generally what you're going to see is that utility is just so much more powerful on Cafe, and defensive teams need to be more rigid, and attacking teams, they've also got to be more methodical as a result. Border can play a lot looser. It's a lot harder to maintain certain positions as defenders, and frankly a lot less important, and that's why we don't see as much of that utility focus on a map like that compared to Cafe. I mean, the maps are both, big old squares. They're shaped similarly. You could argue that, but when you look at the way these play out, at least the Cafe we're seeing right now, it is a lot more of a disciplined, utility-focused Cafe, and I'd argue that that is going to favor SSG as long as they can keep forcing RTV to play their way.
And it's certainly not favoring Reality TV right now. I mean, we just saw 2 nades caught by the ADS on White Stairs. Only 3 flashbangs to be sure, maybe 2 concussions for Hat. But no attempt to try to clear that ADS, even after they heard the first one caught on White Stairs. You still have some nades from Giddy, so it's not all hopeless, but Bosco ends up sending a C4 in turn to detonate Giddy as he tries to deal with the Mira. Hot and Cold gets aggressive on White as well. That's now 2 players gone for Reality TV. And when they are denied that opening and forced to claw back a late round with a 2-body disadvantage, that can be difficult sometimes, even as skilled as this team is.
I love that little combination aggressive play there from SSG. It was the C4 and then the jump out at the same time, both on the same side of the map that, really worked well. Bolts will now get another and really dig Reality TV deeper into the hole that they've already found themselves in. 1 round down, but it seems in just a moment they'll be down 2 unless they can pull off some kind of miracle. Tristan, he thinks he's got a free pass here up New Balk, but really, you've got Hot and Cold lurking down below, so if Tristan exposes himself to that position, he will likely fall. Hat, he's won an engagement with this same mirror window before, but this time, Bosco is not going to give him any opportunity to find that kill. Staying patient, waiting for Reality TV to work their way up, and that makes perfect sense. They've only got 25 seconds left and simply do not have the manpower to do this. Bosco, there it is. We'll finish off Hat and Yeti on to Tristan to give SSG their first flawless round of the series.
I want to highlight the late round right there, because even though there were 2 very quick kills early on, I think how SSG closed out that round is a good example of the collective strength this team has and why they are such a good pick to root for between these 2 on Cafe. You have a 2v5. It's just Hat and Tristan. 2 of the more aggressive and mechanically skilled players on RTV. So what do?
Attackers need to locate
just don't peek. Bosco's playing behind a mirror window. Hat is sitting in front of it, begging Bosco to peek that window. Give him a kill. And Bosco says no. Yeti and Rampy on White Stairs have that Kiba pixel. And what do? They play on the landing. They don't peek it. They don't give Hat the opening he's looking for. In the previous series against TSM and Mirage, we saw both teams make decisions where they probably should have hung back on the defense instead of swing, and they might lose the fight. For SSG, they're not a team who gives those openings to a team that wants them.
That's just so well played. I mean, and that's the discipline of these pro teams that Reality TV do not play against very often. Sure, 3v5 against anybody is not going to be very winnable, but usually Reality TV have a fighting chance because, like you said, Carter, they get the opportunity to get into those gunfights, and SSG were simply not going to let that happen. So another well-constructed round from the defense there, and that will put them up 3-1 as they head back down to Mining and Dining here, a site that has, I'd say, continued to increase in popularity as we develop throughout this new meta and as we continue shifting here on a map like this. You know, we haven't seen Reading Room much at all today. Instead, it's favoring that other side of that first floor.
Honestly, that's kind of surprised me. We've seen Mining Dining rise in popularity, but at the expense of Bar and Cocktail, we've seen Reading and Fire kind of fill that second or third bomb side. But SSG, maybe because the Mira is on the board, have been okay going to that Bar and Cocktail site and then having Mining be their third and not going to Reading and Fire. No Mira on this site right now, instead dropping it, moving Rampy to the Solus and putting Bosco specifically on that Cade. So if Reality TV want to open up that train hatch, well, they'll probably just have to nade it somehow or destroy it through the floor, because right now it is electrified and will be very difficult to open as SSG sit on this top floor. Rampy down below providing some support, of course, but still sitting inside a Cocktail, inside a Freezer. They're playing to their strengths once again, playing patiently, biding their time, and letting the utility do the talking.
And so far, I mean, the utility has wasted, 90 seconds of this round. Reality TV are starting to, get their utility involved, but it's really the counter from SSG that has done such a good job at wasting time. Because of that focus on the top floor, SSG, they're going to get confident and they're going to get fluid elsewhere. Fultz, he'll step up and he'll get the opening kill for his team in this round, right? That's Hat. Already gone. A player who had so much impact on Border is just not being allowed to shine here on Cafe.
I believe SSG between these two maps 11 and 3 on the entry. Only 3 rounds between Cafe and Border how Reality TV got that opening pick, and SSG showing Reality TV that they might not be the new blood around here, but they can still get aggressive and take these advantages. With only 45 seconds left, down a body, down your buck as well. Once again, Giddy's got to do the soft destruction, and once again, you're low on time. You can't open that train hatch. You can try to nade it, but there's not enough time if you miss to make it work. So now you just have to flood down red stairs in the mining window where all 5 bodies of SSG are waiting.
And they're going to funnel into the site in just a moment, I'd imagine. And like you said, yes, Bosco, he knows exactly what's coming. There's a good kill from him. Fultz will get another, and it's just Giddy and Tristan who are nowhere close to making this happen. I mean, Tristan's at the window, but the only place that they can really walk in. Bosco knows that, still loses that fight. Oh, good shot from Giddy there, to be sure. But in this 4v2, with only 3 seconds remaining, Reality TV, they do not stand a chance. SSG, another clean round. It's 4-1.
Clinical in these first 5 rounds from Space Station Gaming. Reality TV on Border and on Cafe have been looking for those openings, and they have been denied. And then SSG, they know that Reality TV need to get aggressive at that point, so they back up and waste time. It is such a simple game SSG are playing. You get the first kill, you don't need to push for more necessarily. You don't need to go for that 2-piece or that 3-piece. If you get that first kill and the attacking team still hasn't made their way into the building, just back up. Still hold the top floor. Don't completely retreat and bunker, but don't play as forward as you were. It's so simple, yet SSG are the masters of it, and have mastered it against Reality TV. As we go into round 6, the final attempt for Reality TV to get a 4-2 half, which, to be fair, on Cafe is usually what you seek. But every single time they've played these attacks, they try to create that initial control, usually lose the opening duel, and then stall for the remainder of the round, and SSG end up winning it.
Well, Reality TV, they're the ones in need of something. Only 1 round so far on the Cafe attack. That is not gonna fly when you transition to your defense here. Cafe, it's not that defensive-sided, especially against SSG. Really gonna require this second round if they want to have any hope at taking their own map pick. An uphill 1-5 battle is not something I think they were hoping to enter at the swap, especially after so much success on map number 1. But SSG have done such a good job of adjusting to this Reality TV team, and that is the beauty of a best of 3. And it's what showcases a team like SSG's experience, right? In that best of 3 environment, in that counter-stratting enemy analysis environment, right? They've had this time now to get an understanding of what reality TV can do, how they want to do it, and so far, they've been able to totally counter it here on map number 2. Reality TV, well, they've got to find an answer for that quickly, either changing up some strategy of their own or staying a bit more composed, playing a bit more together, and somehow getting this one back. Starting this round off with maybe a bit of an aggression, a bit of a utility dump, and potentially a bit of a drop in Mr. B. An aggressive play from him will go 1 for 1.
We'll go 1 for 1, but acquire some necessary control. He's got that central area below Skylight down, but Yeti fights back, cuts down Giddy, and now it's minimized. Tristan, who's always the tip of the spear, he's got to push up. Angle denied by the Kiba. Good timing and good decision by Yeti to block that key angle that so many attackers use when they try to lurk up long bar. Now Hat will lurk even further. He's made his way to White Stairs, and Tristan will support from the hatch. But SSG are letting him take this initial control, but they're not trying to take the fight. They're trying to make him question himself, making reality TV waste even more time, and not give them a 1v1 that makes a 2v4 into a round victory. Hat will remain on this landing, but they are running out of options, Jonah. 55 seconds, they can maybe drone a little more, acquire a little more vertical control. This is where SSG thrive, and so far, it doesn't seem like they're going to lose it.
It's a good kill from Hat, and maybe that is the start of something. But they still have so much work to do. Like you said, 40 seconds is not a ton of time here, given how disciplined SSG are playing. Tristan will make the next move, working his way up into reading, which incidentally is free if he wants to take it. But there are defenders lurking just about everywhere else, including Rampy up above. Be careful. He's got an angle here, right onto Hat. Could have sworn there was a drone on Rampy's position, but Hat just didn't care. Sticks the plant, and he gets punished for it. Tristan now trying to do the same thing, but Yeti likely to shut it down as well. There's the spray, and while the first few bullets miss, the last few will not. SSG 5-1. It's dominance from them this time.
And we'll have to see how their attacks are, but it is hard to get more convincing for their defensive halves than that. They drop the opening pick for the final defensive round, but trade it back immediately and continue as if nothing had changed. And they knew that the damage dealt to Reality TV's man count would allow Rampy to flank up above. And again, the individual decision-making so stellar by SSG so far. Creates a hole from up above. The calls are on point for where Reality TV are planting. He's able to drop the diffuser and force the 1v3 and force the round victory as well. Again, we'll have to see how these attacks are for SSG and how these defenses are for Reality TV. But we saw what a lead could do to a team on Border. Reality TV got 2 rounds in a row, and even though they were certainly flawed in the early to mid round, they just got a few good individual plays in the late round, and that was enough to sail them to a 7-3 victory on Border.
Yeah, at this point, Reality TV, right, they're obviously looking to come back and looking to make their defenses work, but you've also got to consider just thinking about what they can do overall on a multi-map perspective, not just on Cafe, but thinking about, I believe we have Theme as our decider, right? Thinking about how they can work on this utility game that SSG are playing so well and figure out a way to deal with that. Because you go to Theme Park, right? And again, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but if we go to Theme Park, that map is massive. It's so big. You have so much utility to clear, so much control to take. I mean, that's going to be a daunting task for Reality TV if the attacks on Theme are anything like what they just did on Cafe. They're going to have to find an answer for that now, and maybe that just comes in the form of some discipline of their own, some gunplay of their own. Maybe we see them respond here on this defensive side.
Doing the normal extension, the normal roam on the top floor. You can't just give up the whole map, especially when the site is on the top floor. You got to make sure you're keeping the attack back, at least for that first minute and a half. Mr. B playing aggressive below this hatch. The ball's on this man. Rotates right under the nose of the Yana, but still makes it back alive. I don't know if I would have done that. But then again, I'm not Mr. B. Uncold almost finds another Reality TV defender, just walking around as if the attack isn't on the roof and not watching their very positions. Reality TV are not punished for it. They just barely escape punishment. Minute 20 seconds in so far, SSG. I mean, they weren't able to capitalize off those opportunities. They're starting to make progress. They still need to clear that pixel shield and make their way into Ticket as well, so things aren't going quickly by any stretch of the imagination. But if they can clear out Tristan, maybe even do a lot of damage to him as well, could still be a victory for their first half.
but no kills have been found just yet in this one. First one, though, could be around the corner, as we're going to see some more aggressive ballsy rotation there from Tristan. He'll cross his way past the window. In fact, he'll do it again. Yeti will get down as he swings in, walks right into a frost mat. That's not ideal, but he'll get picked right back up. So again, a little bit of damage dealt, but nothing fatal at the moment. A full minute still for SSG to work with. They've cleared their way up through piano. They've got cigar control, but they still have to get some sort of avenue to push into the site.
And one is not going to present itself. They'll open up the trash wall because, well, Freezer and Bathroom are both electrified, and they can't deal with that. If they want to push up White as well, Rice is holding that close with a shotgun, and the first kill goes RTV's way. Fultz domed by Tristan. Now SSG will be in a disadvantage as they flood through just a couple doorways and a window.
Yeah, good opener there from Tristan, and now Reality TV looking to follow that one up and just hold down this site. Bosco, though, he's got something else in mind, taking care of Giddy here, and now maybe allowing themselves a little bit more room to play with, but still, frankly, that's not going to be enough. There's still a 4v4 with 15 seconds left. SSG, they're going to have to light up this scoreboard, and they're going to have to do it fast. Bosco, he runs way too far into the site. Same thing goes for Hot and Cold. Hat's got the angle to shut them both down. It's Yeti and Rampy, and they are simply out of time. Hat will line up another, and even though Hat falls in the end, there was simply no time to pick up that diffuser and get it on the ground. Reality TV off to a good defensive start.
Man, timing not going SSG's way there. 3 times that round, a defender rotated right in front of an attacker as they were either just getting on a drone or just backing off of the angle. And in the third case on White Window, the Sledge just didn't have the angle, was watching Pixel as the Jaeger had already just made his way past the window. So SSG's clear, they had all the right pieces. Had somebody White Window to try to pinch out the Pixel player. Had someone Skylight to see if they were pushing out Freezer. But the timing didn't go their way, and then the intel didn't go their way as Yeti vaults into a frost mat. He's still alive, but because of the slow clear and the lack of pressure or the lack of kills that they had in that round, they didn't have time to clear out any of those cades or clear out any of those bathroom positions. They just had to flood through doorways, and that's where SSG thrived on their defense. And Reality TV, they're probably going to thrive there as well, just as they did.
Yeah, that was clean, patient work from them in the end. Like you said, though, not as patient in the early round, where a couple of early disasters were averted, but they made it work in the end when it came down to it. It was Hat in the freezer. It was good, strong positions that SSG just could not force their way through. This is one solution for that, bringing out the Monty. If you have any issue with, for example, a VIP shield or a big bakery shield, why not just throw a Monty at them? Truthfully, he can also be used to clear out the map if you want to join him on that top-down approach. But likely, Hot and Cold will just rappel up the other side of the building to do exactly that, joining this team on the top-down to help take this control expeditiously.
You don't often see that Monty full clear anymore. It's almost always brought with a direct attack, whether on bank or what have you, but they're trying to go for that full clear, and they'll lose a body, but take one in turn. That likely favors Reality TV, though. That Specchio scanner is good. Reality TV have never based the entirety of their strats around that Solus. They'll deep roam, try to get a couple drones, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Instead, he takes out 2 of the attacks, 4 nades, and the main entry for SSG so far, alongside Rampy so far in this match. That definitely favors the defense a little bit more in terms of utility and who they specifically killed. But it being a 4-4, you still have that skeleton key and that sledgehammer, and you have second floor control with just over half the round to go. A lot of the angles they need to open up on the top floor will be opened up. After that, it's just a matter of whether or not they can transition down to that middle floor. They have the secondary hard breach charges. They can open up that freezer hatch. But how they can deal with Giddy, the Warden, playing inside a VIP, now with 2 less nades than you had before, maybe they'll have to rely more on the Monty to throw him completely off guard.
Right, losing Fultz here wouldn't be that big of a deal, like you said, if maybe they had another gun. But with the Monty in play, with only 3 real guns left, it will be a bit more difficult to fight that uphill battle, to be sure. No Solus to worry about. That'll likely give SSG a bit more comfort when it comes to actually pushing this site when droning up above. They won't have to worry about being scanned or spotted out. And some good intel from Well, SSG's side on their own, they've also got a nice little kill. A nade downs Hat, Rampy finishes him off, and now SSG will use this opportunity to push into the site. Hot and Cold, he just drops the hatch, and he will be in there uncontested. Reality TV, they are not collapsing on the site in time. They've got to get a move on here, and they are simply not able to get back to the site because SSG have excellent coverage from up top. Look at this from Rampy. He knows exactly where Rice is. Tristan, not much he's going to be able to do. Too worried about the air jab on the other side. He is simply out of time. Good kill there onto Rampy, but it's not going to matter. You only got 20 seconds, and Yeti will end it right there. SSG take another.
That was such a good read by SSG. Normally, the way a lot of teams play that site is they have the Warden or a smoke, but somebody playing behind that VIP shield to contest white stairs, but more importantly in this case, contest the freezer drop. Have a hole open in that right freezer panel so when people drop down, they're not just completely safe, like they were in that round. Reality TV had full reinforced that wall, so when Hot and Cold drops on the Monty, he doesn't have to worry about that Warden, and SSG don't need to clear him. They can just drop down, have someone drop down as well, and cover from the double window. Rampy sits on the top floor and watches red stairs to catch anybody rotating, and you've got an execute ready and made for you. That's the downside of that setup. If you're not able to waste enough time or take down enough attackers on that top floor, and you full reinforce those walls, that freezer drop is going to happen, and it's going to be lethal.
Well, Reality TV, that could have been a lethal blow for them in terms of their map 2 hopes. Down 4 at this point and sitting on match point, or rather map point, as we still have potentially, and it looks likely, one more map to go in this series. Theme Park up next. Reality TV, if they want to have any hope here on Cafe, they've got to go on a flawless rotation and then some. We got to see 4 in a row, and Reality TV, they're going to start things off with a bit of aggression, a bit of an early spawn peak just to freeze SSG and slow them down a bit if they can.
They're certainly a lot more wary of that window now, both Rampy and Fultz watching it intently to make sure that no one hops out and deals with them on that rappel. You're 6-2 right now. I mean, you could still win after this if Reality TV don't net 4 rounds in a row, but you know what's better than a 6-3, Jonah? Or
what?
I suppose, you know what's better than a 7-3? A 7-2. That's better
True.
than 7-3.
True.
And right now, they might just be on their way to get it. Hat dealt with early on. Not so much an important pick for the utility that Hat brings on the defense, but it's a 5-4 within the first 45 seconds to a minute of the round. You can just go about your normal clear like you were before. You don't need to feel pressured to push forward or pressured to hold back. Just go about things how you normally would, which in this moment is clearing that pixel shield. Fult's still alive, will likely use those nades in tandem with Rampy, one of them on stage, and likely one of them on the white rappel as well, to pinch out Tristan. And they should focus on that, because if they're able to take down that Jaeger as he rotates off, that's a 5-3.
Well, Tristan got out of there. Just barely, but he did get out of there. Loses his shield in the process, but he is alive and well. Only 4 bodies, though, for Reality TV to work with here. They're going to have to really keep them up and keep everyone alive if they can. And that really is going to come onto the shoulders of Giddy and Tristan now as they have another choice to make. Do they stay in Cocktail? Do they fight this? Or do they back off and play a little bit safer? For now, it looks like they want to fight it, and SSG want to work their way into them. That'll take some time, though. They still have to work their way across this top floor, but everyone now has boots on the ground. They're looking ready to go. Giddy, there he is, still holding this position. He gets 1, almost gets a second there. It's Rice instead who gets the second, but oh my, Rampy. 2 kills right back. Still Tristan, though, don't forget about him. He's got 2 more. Finally felled by Yeti, but a quick exchange on the top floor turns that into a 1v1.
A 1v1 to decide if Reality TV go to map 3 or hold on for just a little bit longer. Rice has those evil eyes that could be important as the time dwindles down, yet he doesn't have any drones. He can't seek out Rice's position. He'll just have to hope he's caught. Rice is playing aggressive, pushed up into R90. He'll pull back into reading. hoping that the Hibana goes to dining. The Banshee reveals his position. Rice knows he's there. Can he dodge the flash? He does, but he still gets domed! 7-2 for SSG on their opponent's map pick, one-upping the already impressive showing from Reality TV. And we go to Theme Park, and ladies and gentlemen, this is anybody's game.
Oh, it is. Oh my word. This is back and forth, not during the map, but between maps, I guess. It was dominance from Reality TV, and then even more dominance from SSG, and it wasn't even close.